everybody. It's me, Marmalade. And I got a show. It's my second one. I'm so happy. And I see people are here. I see one person here. Stay around, person. You want to see the show, right? Okay. I'm turning comments on. How do I do that? It's on here somewhere. Press a button. Okay. My tie straight. Do I look good? I'm dressed up tonight because I got a special guest. I got a date. Yeah. We met on Twitter. It happens. So I want to bring her on the show because she's like an artist and a poet and well, she's just a really nice person. So I want to bring onto the show Miss DORI Jones. Hi, Miss DORI.
Hello. Hi, Marmalade.
I'm so happy you came to the show.
Yeah, I do that kind of thing offline usually.
I don't have no idea what you're talking about, but that's okay.
Okay, that's okay.
So you write poetry.
I love poetry.
I have a book.
And I have, this is actually not my first poetry book, but it is my first haiku illustrated book.
What kind of illustrated book?
Illustrated haikus.
Gesundheit.
Haiku!
Yeah, that's what I thought you said. Haiku.
Haiku!
So what's a haiku?
It is 3 lines. It's a Japanese poem. And it's and the word
that's called cultural appropriation.
Whatever. I use French words to name my book, so call the authorities.
It's cosmopolitan.
It's very avant-garde. Okay.
Ooh, she spoke French.
Very much, very much. Well, the name of the book is La Première Tome, which means the first volume, because it is the first volume of a series of haiku illustrated poems, and the main series is called L'amour de cette ville, which is French
for you to say.
L'amour. You want to say it with me?
L'amour.
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 De cette
Bill. Bill. Oh, I get bills all the time.
L'amour de cette ville is French for love undressed.
Oh, see, I knew l'amour was like love, and I knew what bills are, so I figured it was love you pay for.
No, that's a whole different type of French girl.
The kind that Jack draws.
Exactly. So yeah. So I used French words and French terms to name my book. I grew up 45 minutes outside of New Orleans, and I have a lot of French influence, and the naming of it in French to a Japanese poetry book was my homage to my heritage of where I grew up. But yet it is a book about these beautiful ways that the haiku will, it's 3 lines. It's just 3 lines of text. The word haiku means starting verse. So if you're a writer out there or an editor, you kind of know what that means. It's like a prompt.
Gotcha.
Gotcha. So
and they never end it. It's like I started and then I start another one and I start another one, but they're never over.
Exactly. And the haiku is a way to express the starting of something, but get your attention. And it's done with 3 lines. The first line has 5 syllables. The second line has 7. And the third line has 5. So it's 5, 7, 5. Are you self-publishing? It is on Indiegogo, Obscured Gaming. So this right here is available currently on Amazon, but this manuscript is being mastered. It's being remastered. It's being it's less expensive in the campaign. It's $5 less if you get it in the campaign, and you get goodies with it in Indiegogo. If you go to Amazon, you're just going to get the book, and you're not going to get. Yeah.
What kind of goodies do you get? I like goodies.
You like goodies? Well, if you see, we're already past the 50% mark, Marmalade, which means that all my physical backers are getting. Okay, first of all backers will get a 5x7 postcard of Sweet Girl.
I don't even know who she is, and I want one.
Well, we will see her. Do you want to play the video, or do you want me to tell you about the perks yet?
Oh, yeah, no, we got video. Let's roll that beautiful bean footage, RJ.
Roll the video.
Do your job, dude.
Gesundheit.
You know what? I've got to get better help because this guy's not working out. You want a job, Corey?
I could use a money-making type of job. Yes.
Oh, there's none of that. None of that involved. So.
Okay.
That's why this guy's hired on because he's.
I might work for food and I might work for art, but I don't think I'd work for free.
Okay, well I can do that. I can probably, we got hot dogs. You got it, RJ. Okay, he says he's got it now. Here we go.
Shall we begin?
This is not a drill.
Repeat, this is not a drill.
Let's begin now.
Ignore me no more, or forever miss me gone. Stop caring, I will.
Sweet girl, I am, yes. Don't underestimate me. Cut a bitch, I will.
There went Pops one day, suggesting I do something in a whole new way.
Hey, I was getting into that.
You like that? There were 3 haikus in that video, Marmalade. Did you catch them? Could you tell?
I noticed you were like talking kind of weird, but it was like you'd say something that bounced 5 times and then it bounced 7 times and then it bounced 5 times again. Was that this haiku?
You've got the idea. You've got it.
Because I was Googling haiku. But while the music was playing, I would type in here, I would Google haiku. And it came back, it said, giant Japanese movie monster.
I think that you mean that's what's his name? Oh my god.
Oh, it says kaiju. So
Kaiju.
Kaiju. Not haiku. Kaiju.
No.
I don't know. Maybe I'll try to write let me think. Giant water.
Yes, Obscured Gaming, every page in this book is hand painted. So I just worked on one today. This is one of the pages that is a hand painted version of one of the pages in the haiku. So yes, everything in it is hand painted. Hello. I was looking at chat. Will is here, Marmalade, and so is Simple Zach. Hello, Simple Zach. Obscured. Hello. So
here comes Godzilla rising out of the water. Say goodbye, Tokyo.
The book, it highlights. There's 10 haikus in the book, and there's 10 pages of art that is a singular image that represents and conveys the message of the haiku. And then there's an additional 10 pages that are done in a similar fashion as a comic book with the panel pages, and it tells the story of each line of the haiku.
Wait, so it's a haiku comic book. I like comic books. I read lots of comic books.
That's really cool. I used to do traditional hand-drawn illustrations, but went digital. So in the book, to answer Obscured Gaming's comment or to address it.
You're messing in on my territory, Obscured Gaming. No, that's okay. No, we can.
Good day, Savior of Comics. Yes, it's very romance. It's very love. It's not child appropriate. It is. There's a few nudes in here, at least 2. But they're very romantic. They're not graphic type of. They're done elegantly. Hi, James. Why is there a dirty puppet on screen? And what has happened to RJ? Let him out.
I took a shower.
with your hands up.
I even play hair.
Hello, Lorenzo. We've got a bunch of people here. So
I got a good show.
You know, I wanted to tell everyone who's watching, and particularly Obscured Gaming, going digital. I don't see myself ever completely going digital, but the main purpose of this campaign and running this campaign and offering the book and the artwork to everyone is to fund a digital device for me, because everything that I've done digitally, and some of the pieces in the book have been graphically enhanced and colored. I did some fine detail coloring digitally to the images in the book, but they were all done on a little iPhone.
You gotta have little bitty paintbrushes for that.
What?
You gotta have little bitty paintbrushes to do art on an iPhone.
Oh my God. I had to buy a whole bunch of different stylus pens to get just the right one. I'm such a crazy purist, because this is what you see on the wall behind me is what that's me. I'm a canvas fine art painter. Okay. Do you want a Cintiq? No, I don't know what that is.
I don't even know what Cintiq is. I think you meant critique.
I've looked at XP pens and I've looked at the Halion or something. But ultimately it's going to come down to what I can afford once the campaign runs its course.
So the campaign's got 27 days left. That's almost a whole month.
That's right. That's right. It funded to more than 50% in the first hour, because I don't know if you want to scroll all the way down, or I can just, I kind of like, anyway, there's a fine art painting that was on canvas that was part of the campaign, because she's going to be on the cover of volume 2. She was snatched up within the first hour of going live. So she's gone.
Is it this girl right here?
No, it's do you want to start at the top, or do you want to go all the way to the bottom?
Is that
go back
there. Question?
No. If RJ was here asking me that, I probably would blush. Let's see.
Why?
Hi, Lorenzo. Hi, Mr. Yonofi. And I hope you reach your goal. Sorry to ask. Oh, no, don't. Ask, please. Because I have gotten so much curiosity from this Obscure Gaming. I love the questions, because you were reassuring me that I did something good here when you ask those questions. So
all the questions that you asked means that I don't have to come up with any.
Okay, so if you start at the top, Marmalade, the featured product, of course, the featured perk is the book. It's the premium, high quality color book that has the artwork with the haikus.
The Landlord de Chablis.
It is a 24-page book, but depending on how much I make out of this campaign, I might throw additional pages in it, because this is still in the works. I've got some estimates from printers, so I've got a little bit of room to play, but I haven't. Right now, I can commit to the 24 art pages.
A bigger book. I like it. I like bigger books.
Let's go big. If you're gonna go big.
Big books, and I
cannot lie.
Yeah.
The book that Marmalade, RJ, and I have talked a little bit about the other book I'm working on. That one's almost 100 pages already. Look at your face. We'll talk.
Like 3 weeks to read that.
Yeah, actually, it probably would, because it's a narrative poetry book. So then I have digital. Obviously, some of the perks are digital. You can get a digital color or digital. Now, get this. You haven't gotten to this yet, but if you scroll down a little, you will see another perk. That's another printed book. There it is. Oh, no, that's digital. Keep going. One more. Right there.
The magic one.
This is the exact same book, but it's in black and white, because it is a coloring book. So you can either get if you don't want to get the color one that has all of my paint color choices, you can just get the coloring book, and you can sit down with it with your own paint, your own crayons, your own markers, and go to it.
I love the color book, but your colors are a lot prettier.
Thank you. He says he ghost wrote some famous haikus, but I can't say which ones. I hear you. I'm a stand-up comic, and I've done comedy writing for 13, 14 years. I've ghost written comedy for people. I can never say the names. That's part of the deal. But I'm allowed.
Who it was for?
Nope. No. Never. I mean, you'd have to like get me in a dark room with some, torture equipment to get me to admit who I ghost wrote for.
I got some torture equipment. Right?
Yeah. Not 50 Shades of Grey, though. That's kind of child's play. That stuff's kind of kindergarten. Anywho.
There's that many shades of gray. I've only got 16 colors in this box here.
So each volume that I'm going to be producing comes out with 2 editions, the full color one and a coloring book version. Each one will have 2 editions. I may even make this edition 1 so that the one that people get from the campaign has a special uniqueness by being called edition 2. So the next perk in here is called a haiku and digital creation, and this is to pay homage to the digital creative world. The boy you're looking at on the right-hand side, he's a prince. He's wearing a crown. Not the girl with the mask on. She's a poster, but him, yes.
The top one and the little one.
Correct. So that perk, whoever backs that, I will write them a haiku that is solely for them. And I will do a digital creation for them from my artist, our abstract fine art brain. And they not only get those 2 items, but they also get an 8x10 glossy print.
RJ, get your wallet out. I want a haiku.
You want me to write a Marmalade haiku? Oh, I bet I could. I'm sure I could.
There's already 3 bounces in my name, so most of the first line's taken up.
Right. Now the girl on screen to the left with the mask, who's also the next perk, she is called Every Now and Then. She is actually a sneak peek from the book that I was mentioning that RJ may help me bring to publishing, which will happen later on. She's a sneak peek. She's an artist. She's a painting from that book. But I threw her in here because I have some 11 by 17 posters of her. So if anyone backs that, they can get her now. They can get that now. He says, just bought it. Yay! Yay! Thank you, Obscured Gaming. So this poster is here, and she's in here as a perk so that people can get a sneak peek or a sneak product from the next poetry collection that I'm doing. Then I think the next thing is a signed hand-painted art page. So if you just want a page of my artwork, the painted art is randomly chosen from. I have pages and pages from this book, you guys, in addition to pages from the book I'm working on. So this, I think I put 10 because I did a head count. I did a page count. So I can offer 10 for this particular perk. This is simply a signed hand-painted piece of art. The next item, Marmalade, is the original. It is the original of that poster. I still have it. This is what.
This is a big screen.
I'm gonna make it big screen.
Yeah.
This is what she looks like. This is the original girl.
She's all glassy.
Yes, she's a watercolor acrylic done on paper, on canvas paper, or sketch paper, a really high quality. I use a thick sketch paper, and then I spray it with an acrylic gloss, and I paint the back on them. Typically, I paint the backs to make sure that none of the colors get messed up. So
it doesn't bleed through.
Right, that's the perk you're looking at right there. Is her. She's again, she's the one piece she's not in the haiku book. So she is a special, unique sneak peek from the book I'm publishing next. James says, has anyone else done a haiku-based art comic? Yes, James. There are a few other illustrated haiku series out there. Not like comic book, though. I haven't seen anyone do it in the 3-page panel. So, Marmalade, if you want to do full screen, we can show James this.
I know what they are. I know what those are. So, do you know what those are, Miss Dori?
I almost went upside down. So this is an example of one of the pages in the book. This is actually the original page. And there's 3 images and they're in comic book style, but this tells the story of the haiku. And if you back my campaign, I have a Google Drive where I'm putting things as I finish them, as I create them. Any of my backers are going to see finished product and finished pieces as I'm going through the next. Everything's written. Everything's written. By the way, it's all written. It's all done. All I'm doing for the next 27 days is I'm fine-tuning the art. I'm touching up some of the black spaces. I'm sealing the artwork. I'm prepping it for going to its forever home.
I just figured out what you can call these things.
What?
You ready? I brainstormed. They're high comics.
High comics.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. And you know, it's really...
High comics? I don't know.
What's amazing is I was keep going because if this is getting you excited, if poetry and haikus is getting you excited, let's keep going on the perks because I have one in here that kind of shocked people. So the next one, I think you passed it.
Oh, I passed it. I'm looking at the left and not
right
the right.
there.
Everything signed and inked.
Everything. You can get both versions of the book, the color and the coloring book, the digital versions, as well as an inked sketch. So I got started on this process and I was hand painting the sketches. And then I realized there's a lot of artists out there, especially comic book artists, who don't color their originals. They ink them, they sketch them, but then they'll use digital to color.
Yeah.
So
in case you make a mistake, you can't erase the color.
Exactly. And so I have some finished inked sketches from the book that are going to be part of that perk. And because what I did is I scanned them and I made a copy and I hand painted a copy so that the original pure sketch still exists. And I only did that because of the influence of some of the comic book guys that I was following. This next piece of art is another example of an original canvas. That's an original canvas. And it is another sneak peek from the book that's next.
That's a song.
Yes, it is. That's my favorite. I forgot all about it. It's on I've got that piece.
I do karaoke sometimes.
Yes, actually, I butchered that song at karaoke not too long ago. I butchered it pretty bad.
And I walk in after midnight, something.
This is the original of that. I still have it. It's a 12 by 12.
Oh, that's cool.
So that is Walking After Midnight, and it's going to be it was one of the illustrations for the poetry collection book that is it because I'm from Louisiana, so. Now the next piece, next perk in there, Marmalade, is let me turn this off. It's called Bridges. So one of the panels of the story pages. So each haiku has a story page, and one of the panels of the story page was this bridge. And I did it on paper. It came to me on paper, and I conceived of it when I was working on paper. But I loved it so much. I did a painting of it. So I plan to do this with a few of the images from the haiku. And I have it. What?
It's very shiny.
Yeah, they all are because I sealed them with an acrylic. So those are two of the perks that are in there. So yes, to answer, not that anyone in chat has asked this, but I got asked this a lot on Saturday. Yes, there's quite a bunch of artwork, actual original artwork in the campaign. Then there's also another everything perk where you get everything, but instead of, if you don't want an ink sketch, if you don't want the sketched inked one, you can have a hand-painted page. That's the only real difference.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You do a lot of art. How long have you been doing art?
Oh, God, for a very long time. I didn't take it. Don't go too fast. I want to tell you about Tomedu. This is see. Oh yeah. So to answer your question, I've done art my whole life, but I didn't really get serious as Doris Jones Labors of Love until about 6.5 years ago.
So when I was 3.
And I sold my first piece of art for the first time in my entire life 6.5 years ago. That's pretty much, and it's been growing ever since. And I've sold I think 4-5 paintings this year total. So to me, that's a success, because there was a time, Marmalade, where I wouldn't let people even look at my work. I had literally had a closet full of art that had never been shown to anyone because I was that private about it.
What's it feel like when like somebody who's not your mom and not your aunt and not your teacher comes up and it's like a total stranger and they give you money for your art that first time?
You know, I don't know if you're asking this question because you know the answer, but here's what I'll tell you, and I'll tell this, and I've said this to a few other people. Part of why I never showed it to anyone, part of why I wouldn't let people see it, was, to me, my artwork and my poetry was as personal as masturbation.
Master who? Never mind. I don't know. Big words.
So yeah, well, you know, it's okay that you don't know what it means, and I'm not going to explain it to you, sweetie. You can ask your parents, but
okay.
That's how personal it was. And it still is. It still is very, very deeply personal. And it's one of the most exciting things about that, though, is that now that I've gotten the bravery and the courage to show people and let people see it, what all those doubts and all those crazy things that were in here talking to me, telling me that I wasn't this or I wasn't that, they've all gone away. Because I hate to say it, but you're right. Having someone pay you, hand you cold cash, whatever, for painting is a really nice validation. It's a really nice way to feel like your work is something.
Yeah. But then, you know, there's the other side of it. It's kind of sad that, you know, this thing you made is gone now. It's like your baby leaving the house.
Well, that's why I said earlier that the people getting this artwork, it goes to their forever home. When my artwork is sold and it goes away and it goes somewhere else, that's exactly how I say it. It's going to its forever home. So
like kittens.
Yes, exactly. Obscured Gaming says, well, I gotta work on intro, Marmalade. I wish you the best of luck, Dory. Look forward to more of your work. Thank you. Mwah.
He's making me an intro for my show, like David Letterman or Johnny Carson.
I will make sure to look for you after so we can follow each other. I want to follow. If you're in chat, leave your details so I can come back and get them so I can follow you. So she hasn't taken her work to an art show before or Comic-Con. No Comic-Cons, no. I've never been in an art show, but I've been approved for 2, and I ended up chickening out and didn't go. I paid for a 10x10 twice at a show and didn't go because I'm an extreme introvert, extreme quiet type. For me, a big gang of people is a fuck no. Okay, so it's at some point, James, I hope to get there, but I'm not there yet. And I did get accepted to a gallery, but the commission or the gallery group of people that, you know, like I would have been let in, but they were full. They didn't have room in their space. But otherwise, I did get a nod. I got a high five that said, if we had room, we would totally hang your stuff tomorrow. This perk that's on the screen, Tome Du, is called, it's basically about volume 2. So I'm going to do a second volume, of course, because these are a series. I'm going to do these as a series. This perk in particular gives the backer, I will be doing haiku for them, similar to that digital perk one. I write the haiku for them. I will do the artwork for them. I will conceive the artwork to the haiku that I write. I write the haiku. That's what that one is.
Okay, so like the first time you write a haiku, and this one you write a haiku and you draw the picture for it.
And it'll go in volume 2. So 5 people, I write it and I do all the artwork, but 5 people can pay to have them acknowledged as the person who those 5 haikus are to honor, to pay homage to. I will personalize the haiku for them, to them. They can't write the haiku. They're not going to do the artwork, but it will be a haiku I muse them through. So if you, I know we passed it, but if you want to scroll back up a little bit to that woman, she's kind of brown, not me. That's my beautiful face, but that, I know, I just call myself beautiful because I have self-love. Okay. This one right here, you're almost there. This was actually, this was not a commission. It was not something anyone paid me to do. I got a lot of encouragement and support from Christy Shen, the creator and illustrator of Demon Bitch.
I know her.
Yes. This haiku was written about her, for her, to her, and to honor her. So this is one of the reasons why I put an example of it in here, is that she is a warrior unleashing freedom and form with ingenious storm. So the backers of that particular perk we were on, Marmalade, that's what they get. I will muse something out of me for them, about them. And I can usually do that fairly, I'm an empath, so I got that. But,
Like
so,
Raven.
Yeah. And there's a few other perks after that one, if you want to go back down.
Yeah, let's go back down. Go scrolling.
Scroll. I know. Hey, it's my first campaign, but I'm an overcomplicator. So what do you think? What do you expect? So
It's actually a pretty simple campaign. I've seen some that were like lots of covers.
No, yeah, I kind of toyed with the idea of a variant, but we're not there yet. So I do have 2 retail tiers in here. If anyone out there is a retail person, whether they're a comic book retailer or a book retailer, I wanted to make sure there was at least a retail tier for those people, because I know some people in the publishing business that might know some people that might want, a set of books to put somewhere. I'm just saying. So I wanted them to have the options.
So they can get 10 copies on this one.
Right. They can get 10 of the black and white set or 10 of the color set. Yes. The next perk after the retail stuff. Okay. Now this is where it gets interesting. I think
The
there's
way
only
she bent over is pretty interesting.
not the left, Marmalade, the right.
Okay.
Tome do the part 2. Now this allows one backer. There's only one of these. I'm only allowing one. They get to write the haiku for volume.
Taking a big risk.
Now I'm going to do all the artwork. They don't get to dictate the artwork. I will be doing the conception of it, but they can be the writer. They can be the co-partner. They can be the co-partner writer of the actual haiku.
So like here comes Godzilla rising from the water. Say goodbye, Tokyo.
Yes. And I know it may seem like a lot, and like, what the hell? She's like, this is crazy. Well, I don't collaborate well. I play well with others, but I don't collaborate well. I'm kind of I'm not even going to try to sugarcoat it. I'm very anal retentive, and I'm extreme about my art. I don't like to share it, as I already said. To have someone collaborate with me, to have a hand in it with me, yeah. Which is why there's only one of those. And if someone takes it, and I will happily let them write the haiku. And I will do the artwork, and they will get a writer's contribution credit for the second book. So.
And you got stretched after those 2 ladies were stretching. That was making sense there. I like that placement. Was that on purpose?
I was going to say, Marmalade, scroll back up so we can talk about those women that were doing the yoga poses.
Okay. You convinced me.
You want to look at the women with the yoga poses, right?
Yeah.
Saber says, I am good at S3X, and I have lots of money, savior of comics. So, Ben.
No, that's the other orange guy, savior of comics. That's the other orange guy that says that.
Yeah. So a future aspiration, definitely not on my plate today, but a future aspiration is to co-partner with a sequential artist to do a romance comic book that I do have written. It's called The Amazon Beauty Does Dating, Love, and Spirituality. And I currently have it on a Webtoons. I have like 6 cute little episodes on my Webtoons. But these particular ladies you're looking at is the Amazon Beauty, and she's doing yoga. And I borrowed these from one of my own illustrated Webtoons because I thought, oh, stretch, you know, like when I'm doing my yoga, because I do yoga. I've been doing yoga since I was in my 20s.
I've been watching yoga since I was like 2.
Yeah.
Yoga and Boo Boo and the Ranger and.
Yeah. So if you look at the wording, it's like, okay, and it's like get ready, set, go. Okay, that's exactly what and now bend, and if you bend, flip, fold, and then stretch.
And stretch.
And, for all of you watching, we can keep it, we are talking to Marmalade here, but the actual Webtoons episode is using yoga poses, but it's not talking about yoga, by the way.
What's it talking about?
You'll have to ask your parents if you can read my Webtoons, Marmalade.
Okay, I'll sneak on the internet later.
Okay. So we're already at 50% funding. So all of my 50% funding, all backers get a 5x7 postcard.
And that's the postcard there, the picture of it.
Correct. That is the sweet girl we were talking about. That is Sweet Girl. She is an image from the book. She's actually the singular image from one of the haikus. I am 100% going to recreate her on canvas. I love her. She came out of nowhere one day. I was sketching on my lunch break, and the poem refers to a sweet girl. And if you scroll down, Marmalade, don't get scared, but scroll down. She's a sweet girl, but she'll cut you.
I see she's going to cut her lips.
Because the haiku is, and I'm not going to give it away, but the haiku is about how we can we can be sweet people, but we can also be pretty savage. And that's what this is conveying. But I call her Sweet Girl. And she's going to be on a sticker. And if you want to scroll back to the stretch goals thing. So we're already there. So everyone right now who is contributed any money to this campaign is going to get her as a 5x7 postcard, but they're also going to get a patch.
A patch of Sweet Girl?
Now the patch design, as it says there, is pending. It's pending completion. Okay.
Hello, Shay. Shay, the red. What you got? Shay the red. There's a patch.
Shay was actually gifted with design freedom.
Oh,
so
she's making it?
She's going to design it. Yes, she agreed.
Patches.
Because I love patches. Am I a patch person? I am now. Oh, you bet I am now. I knew I wanted a patch in my campaign even before I met Shay. But I finally said, you know what? How about, again, I'm working on collaboration, right? Shay's the first person I've ever collaborated with artistically. That's how it started. And then now I just handed it to her. I said, you sweet woman, you go do it. Undead Ramen says, LOL, Shay and her patches. Yes. So I basically handed over reins, and she has the patch design in her very much more, as much work as I can do on canvas and painting and all that. The patch design is in capable hands. Right. And I think we're at 60% right now, but when we get to 75%, I'm going to add a sheet of Speed Dory stickers, which is that little girl. If you scroll, I think we're at 60%.
60%, and wait, we're reloading it.
We're reloading? We know we got one backer.
62%.
Nice. Excellent. Yes. So if you scroll down, there's actually a bigger image of her, Marmalade, that she's called Speed Dory. She's basically me. And for anyone watching, this Dory you're listening to, I existed before that fish. So, I don't want to hear it. I did still the blue and yellow colors. Of course, it's a fish in the ocean, so bite me if you think I'm stealing. Anyway, She's wearing a Speed Racer helmet with a dory fish, my emblem, my own personal design. And she is in the pose of Marilyn Monroe with the white dress.
I think I've seen that picture somewhere.
Yes. So this is the sticker design for the sheet of stickers that will go to backers, physical backers, when I get to 75%.
Well, you're almost there now, 62%. That's like
We're getting close, aren't we? We are.
13%.
I forget what the next stretch goal is. I want to say it's full funding. Yes, at full funding, if I am fully funded, every single person getting a physical product, if they're a physical backer and I'm going to be doing mailing anyway, they're going to get a piece of art. They're going to get a hand-painted art page.
But what happens if, like, all of a sudden a billion people sign up?
I will have a lot of art to do.
Yeah, that's a lot of work. You know, most people, they do the stretch goals that at levels like, you know, after 100%. Hell, is my eyes going bad? I'm looking like I'm blurry. Here.
Well, you know, I kind of like, I've been watching it, and I'm not going to give away what my backers have backed. I mean, that's just private information. But so far, I've got what I need. I've got what it's going to take to fulfill. It's a flexible goal. I will fulfill what has been contributed for, regardless of full funding or not. The only difference is that at full funding, the physical backers will get a piece of art.
Very nice. I want a piece of art.
There you go. That's right. So yeah, and that one, I think it's gone, of course, because it was taken. But on the right-hand side, that last perk, there are no more to be gotten. That is Olive, the tattooed lady. She was a painting. She's the cover of Volume 2.
Is she Lydia's sister?
No, she's actually a tattooed painting that was to pay homage to. I do this a lot. I'm a symbolism. My artwork it's more accurately categorized as abstract realism. But I also am very symbolic. I do a lot of symbolism in my artwork. Similar to Gustav Klimt, he's a huge influence of mine. Patrick Nagel was a huge influence of mine. Georgia O'Keeffe. I'm doing a series of paintings right now called Yoni. And I'm not going to say what that means. You can go Google it.
It's Georgia O'Keeffe and her flowers.
Exactly. But I'm doing a series called Yoni, and they're digital creations to basically honor the influence that Georgia gave me, but they're about the Yoni.
It's the opposite of Valley.
Exactly.
I know things.
So, and those are right now. I'm just kind of doing them, and I'm collecting them in my world. I haven't put them out there anywhere except I think I put them on my Twitter. I think I've posted them on Twitter. At some point, I may do a yogi art book or a Yoni, not yogi. That's Yogi Bear. No. I might do a Yoni kind of mini comic or something. I don't know. So yeah, so that's pretty much it. And at the end, it does say, if you can't back yet, do not even fret. Just share, and show me you care. You know, put it out there, share the link, share it with people, put it to, help, get the word out. Oh my God. I mean, other than the 5 backers who are going to pay to have a haiku written for them, Volume 2, I've already got the haikus ready. Like, the haikus are done. The artwork, of course, I'll still conceive and do. But it won't be long before Volume 2. I would imagine it won't take me long to do a turnaround for a next volume in the series. So
that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
So everybody, if you want la première tome, see, I
you got it, Marmalade. You did it. You got it.
So just look down there under the not at Miss Dory. Look past Miss Dory, and under the big square you're watching us all in, there's a link that will take you to the Indiegogo, and you can click on that, and you can. I'm going in and out with my camera, but you can click on that and you can back this book and buy
more
book.
puppets, smug mug. Yes, and the thing for anyone who it isn't, like I said, it's not really a children's book. It's not an all ages book. There is a few art pieces in it that are nudes, but if you wanted the digital black and white coloring book, you can take out the pages that you don't want your kid to color. There's a lot of artwork in this that a child would love to color. They'd probably adore to get to color it. And if you don't care about your kids seeing a woman's naked form, then let them color that too. James says, I am sorry, but we are never looking past Dory, you dirty puppet. I do kind of steal the show, right, James?
Yeah.
So that's something to consider. And I did that, honestly, doing the coloring book edition was inspired by this last year that a lot of us have been in, and the fact that a lot of us are kind of, we're not able to really go anywhere or do much of anything. And
I stayed in a box most of the time.
As much as I would love to say the way I paint, my paintings are how they should be colored, I know a lot of people out there, and if you're an artist, you can probably relate to this, their color palette of what they like is different. It's just different. It's unique to them, which is why I wanted a coloring book version out there, so that whether you're an artist or someone who just likes coloring, you have that creative outlet for you. Yes, it's my artwork, but color my artwork to your liking, please.
It'll be kind of cool if people start taking pictures of what they colored, and you start seeing the same picture with all the different colors.
And can you imagine, Marmalade, producing and publishing a book in the series of everyone else's paintings?
That's genius! It's like
right?
Everybody else does the work.
I'm just saying, they couldn't technically go out and sport it as their own painting because it's my artwork. But, if I take submissions from people who have painted a painted piece from my book, then hey, maybe that's good. You like that idea?
Yeah, I like that a lot.
And what
coloring pictures?
Yeah. And I haven't done this yet, but I think I'm toying with the idea of adding a perk to the campaign. Not that the campaign needs anything more, because I think it has everything it needs. But I do, going back to this original piece, Marmalade, the one that's in there.
I think that's the best piece of all of them. I really, I like that piece a lot.
Did we do this full screen so they could see it? Do you remember?
I don't know, but we'll do it again.
Okay.
So full screen right there.
I think I'm gonna add a perk to the campaign that allows people, to prepay for a commissioned piece of one of the images from the book.
It's all reflective like a hologram.
That's because I seal it with an acrylic gloss. It's a way less expensive way of doing it to what some people do with resin.
We're only seeing like your light from the ceiling and the light from your monitor.
How's that?
Now it's all black. Yeah.
Well, this is actually on the campaign page. They'll be able to see it. They can see the picture. It's they can probably see it better than that.
It looks really cool. Scroll down. Let me scroll down.
It's one of the perks in there. That one in particular is called Bridges, and it was a panel from one of the panel pages in the book.
There it is.
It's actually one of the panel pages from one of the haikus in the book.
Yeah.
And I personally liked it so much because the original piece and this were both inspired by the bridges I grew up with in New Orleans area, growing up in the South.
Over Lake Pontchartrain.
I grew up in Bayou country, and so bridges like this. Now, this is very avant-garde, not a legit real bridge. Like, I'm not a realist. I have one painting that really... Yeah, I know. I try to get as outside of the norm of what's real. I rarely do anything to real to form.
Well, I just think it's cool.
Thank you.
It's very New Orleans. I like the pink curly cues and stuff on that, and the yellow looks like it's glowing. Like
Yes.
it's all lit up.
It's a really simple color in my watercolor palette. It's one of the least expected effects that you would get out of a collection of what it's a cheap like $6 watercolor palette. But that particular yellow is I don't know what it's called color wise. I'd have to look at the back of my palette, or what came with my palette. But I love that one. I have a blue that does a similar effect. They're neons, I think is what it's called. They're like yeah.
That
So
makes sense.
yeah.
They're like chromium.
I know you didn't ask this, Marmalade, and you probably don't know him, but I have been asked in the past who was my favorite painter or what painter influenced me the most. The biggest influence painter-wise I ever had is from Gustav Klimt. He is by far my favorite painter of all time. He did tons of women, tons of nudes, tons of very intricate color schemes, shapes, and symbolism. I adored his work growing
Is
up.
he the guy who drew that girl on the bridge going,
No, I don't think so. But he painted The Kiss. The Kiss is a very famous painting. Mother and Child, which is actually Mother and Child is actually they're two women from a piece he did called Three Women. He did Adele. There was a painting of his called Adele. That painting and a bunch of his other paintings were confiscated by the Nazis during World War II. And I got to go to New York in 2006. Hi, Rokan.
hey,
Hi, Ben.
Rokan.
It's Ben. One of my highlights in my life was I got to go to New York in 2006, and I went to a gallery showing of Gustav Klimt's work, and I got to see the real Adele in person. Because
Is she still doing concerts?
she was a woman. I think she was a friend of a family. The piece itself was a commission. Gustav Klimt had been commissioned to do it. A lot of his other females in his other paintings are women that were his lovers and such. I have a few paintings that you'd never know who it is about or who is in the painting, but I have a few paintings that were inspired by or are a former lover.
Everybody, the orange one is me.
I do have an orange woman behind me on the wall, actually. She's a woman, though, Marmalade, so.
Oh, what that concert? An orange woman.
I don't think I've ever done any animals.
I'm not
I've
an
done-
animal. I'm just a fucking
No,
monster.
I'm not saying you are per se, I was just trying to think. I'm like, most of my paintings, like the canvas paintings, they're usually just inspired by an image in my head, most of the time. Every once in a while, I'll see an image, or I'll see something on TV, or I'll see something in something, and I'll want to not recreate it because I'm not that kind of artist, but I will want to come close to it. The one painting I have that was very specific to an actual real person is called The Widow. And it is 100% a painting I did because the character, the widow from the TV series called Into the Badlands, one of my favorite female characters ever, one of all time. And I painted her. She's really, I don't know Marmalade, correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe you don't know, you might have to ask RJ, but pop culture, Into the Badlands wasn't a comic book, but it should have been, or it could be, because it's such a great story. But that character wanted to have something of that. Now she's for sale. Someone could buy her. But she's the closest to a realism type of painting I've ever really done. Actually, that's not true. I've done a few portraits of people, but they own those. I don't have them.
So I got one question.
Yes.
Do you ever, like, you're working on the haikus and you're going da 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 da, and then like you quit and you're walking down the street and you're just like talking to people, but like your brain is stuck and it's all still coming out. Hello, my dear friend. How are you today? I am doing well.
Do I talk haiku? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Well,
I did this thing one time with iambic pentameter. And
so
I started talking like that all day long.
Yeah, well, I don't, I don't know how many people we have watching. Do you know, Marmalade?
5.
Okay.
And
so
1 from Facebook.
I love this question because here's what I loved about the haiku, because I'm a free form person. I don't like rules. I don't like structure. I like being able to do what I want to do the way I want to do it. Okay. It's why my paintings are what they are. The haikus were something I did to challenge myself, to get outside of the comfort zone, right? And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna follow these fucking rules. Oh, excuse my French. I'm gonna follow these
all the time.
I bet, if you live with RJ. So the haiku was a nice opportunity for me to challenge myself poetically. And I thought it would be easy. So I started with the haikus. Like right now I'm working on sonnets, by the way. And I'm like, holy fuck, I thought haikus were something. Anywho, so get this. One of the reasons why I love poetry is that I can tell you a message. I can tell you kind of a story in an abbreviated way without a bunch of bullshit in the middle. Okay?
Yeah.
It's why I write poetry as opposed to long, drawn-out Stephen King type novels. Okay? It's why I'm drawn to comic books, and I'm getting so obsessed about the comic book world, because I get to have the story, and I get to see this beautiful art, and I get to have an experience with whatever this world is that a comic book creator has created. But I don't got to deal with a bunch of bullshit in the middle. I get the story, I get the art. Does that make sense? It's simple.
I think so. I got it.
Life is too fucking complicated anyway. I don't need any more complications in my life. That's what I love about it. So to answer your question about talking in haiku, do I find myself going around talking in haiku?
Yeah.
It definitely shaped a brief way of ability of speaking or conveying myself, maybe. Because I can go on and on and on and on and on, and you're like, shut up. Or like, look at how long it's taken me to answer this question.
Because you tell your brain, this is how to talk now. And your brain still does it when you're done.
Right. Exactly. And it's funny because, and RJ knows this, but the book I'm working on now, which is going to be my 9th poetry collection, it is the most ambitious thing I've ever done. It is already 100 pages, and it is poems. It's poetry, but they're narrative, epic poems, and they're told in a story format,
like Titles of the King.
Yes, and a lot of them are about my childhood. A lot of them cover some really deep, very emotionally raw stories.
Titles of Story.
Yeah, and it's a storybook. It's a story collection book, but the stories, it's a short, kind of like a short storybook, but they're not stories or told in a story way. They're told as a poem. They call it narrative poetry.
Yeah, I've actually read some of those.
Ben said that's awesome. I love that format. Yeah, Ben, that's this next book that it's written. I just finished famous last words, you guys. Every time I say I just finished the last piece for it, I always find another art piece to do. One more poem, but I do for, knock on wood. All I really have left to do for that one is put the art in the book, like in the manuscript, and lay out the pages, and then at some point after this campaign is over, and I've already mentioned this a few times, RJ and I have talked very, very briefly a few times about it. It's not on the hot seat right now, but it's coming.
Well, we'll watch for it then.
Were you looking down at something, Marmalade? What were you doing?
Just checking things.
Is it still there?
Yep,
Okay.
still there. You're talking about my feet, right?
Yeah. But I do think that commissioned artwork of canvas paintings from what's in this book or whatever anyone sees in my catalog is definitely in my future, because I had always had it in my head that I wasn't going to recreate anything ever. I wasn't going to ever do anything that was two of anything. But as we talked about earlier, the piece Olive that's sold, that's at the very bottom of this, she went within the first hour. She actually was a painting that I started. I wanted to recreate I had a smaller 8x10 of her, and I wanted to create her on a big canvas. Well, I ended up creating a completely different piece. The only thing that's similar between the two, the 8x10 and this one that sold, is the pose. That is the only thing that's similar, is the woman is in the same pose with her head thrown back. That's it. That's where the similarity stops. Everything else is unique, and that's just me. That's how I am.
Cool. Well, I'm going to scroll this thing back up, and we're going to refresh it one more time, because hope springs eternal.
Yay!
We can sell some more.
Never know.
Reload, click, and drum roll, please. Okay, so nothing this time.
That's okay. That's okay. No,
But-
we know we're getting our postcards, and we know we're getting our patches.
Yes, that sounds awesome. So, I think that covers it all. I think we said everything. Well, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
coming on my show, and
I
everybody in the
enjoyed myself.
chat. I had fun, and
Thank
I taught
you.
poetry. And if you really want to mess your mind up with poetry, write a sestina. Those are mind messers.
I do have a goal. I mean, I have a lot of goals. I am a little bit of an overachiever. I want to learn at some point how to write all the different forms of poetry, and there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
So,
There's a lot. And then some of them don't rhyme at all. Good.
I forgot to put the haiku sneeze in my trailer video. I meant to put it as a trailer soundbite. I forgot all about that.
You can always go back and do another one.
Haiku.
Yeah. Bless you. And thank you. And everybody in the chat over there. You're over there. Thank you for coming and watching my show, and for backing Miss Dory. And if you're watching later, because like YouTube saves this, you can still go down there and click that link and go back our campaign.
Oh, and real quick, I'm live streaming pretty much every day, doing the finishing touches on the art pages. So
I know what I'm watching.
If anyone's curious, I've been inviting artists. Hi, James. I've been inviting artists to come on with me and paint with me. Rich Parada has painted with me. Sean Howe has painted with me.
They're cool.
So, because I'm not minimalizing what I'm doing to the art pages. They're done. All I'm doing is I'm fine touching the blacks, and I'm kind of filling in some colors I want. Because when I did them digitally, here's what I love about digital. When I did the enhancements digitally, I got ideas here of how to go back and paint them, or how to go back and add some touches to them. That's what I'm doing live streaming right now.
Cool. Well, I know what I'm watching. I'm going to tune in. So everybody subscribe to Dory Jones Labors.
Doris
Doris
Yes.
Jones.
And I just got the vanity URL for YouTube. So if you type in Doris Jones Labors of Love, I'm on every social media platform there is for the most part. If you can't find me, you have not looked hard enough. I know my name is Dory, but finding Dory is pretty simple.
Yeah. The girl.
Yes. Thank you
All
so
right.
much for having me, Marmalade.
Thank you, everybody, and good night. We'll be back another time. I don't know when. Mwah.